Hey guys, it's been a while. Stu's Corner, busy day in clinic, and it's going to be a little bit of a rant, I reckon, because that's just the way I'm feeling at the moment. I just got off the phone to a therapist in a state, and look, I do an enormous amount of mentoring, and a lot of it is over the phone, a lot of it's face-to-face over Zoom, whatever the case may be. And I love it. It is a passion of mine, there is no doubt about it. And I love being able to tip my bucket into theirs and have simple, effective change. Like there's no turnkey all of a sudden. You put a key in, turn it, and then everything's going to be rigid-digi and you're going to be the best therapist in the world. It doesn't work that way. But what beggars me the most is when I was a therapist, when I was starting off 32 years ago, and I think back to what was available to me then, and I'm thinking, well, not a great deal, because there certainly wasn't the internet, so you can forget anything on the internet was not there. References, resources were very, very limited, and not that great either, to be honest. And then having access to someone who had all that knowledge and that experience was also unheard of. I mean, I was lucky in my first job that I had two physiotherapists who mentored me, and they were awesome. They were hands-on therapists, they were great. They would pull me in when they had a client, they would explain things to me, they would show me things. It was great. It was the greatest learning curve I had, because to be honest, most of what I learned in my undergraduate was dubious at best, okay? I mean, apart from the anat and physio was great, but a lot of the hands-on stuff was not that great. And that's fine. I'm not poo-pooing that, because there are some things that I have taken away from that. But, I probably had one or two lecturers who really made a dent in me. And I knew that that's what I wanted to aspire to be, what they were. And they were great therapists because they were clinicians. They were working in clinic. They had a lot of experience working in clinic, sometimes them working in high performance. So I was like, yep, this is what I want to be like. There's absolutely no doubt about it. This is the road I want to go down. So I did everything I could and put myself in positions where I could learn as much as I could. And it took time. It didn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen overnight. It takes time. Like I said, I've been doing this 32 years, and it's a physical job. 32 years, 5 days a week, sometimes seeing up to 15 clients a day. And my bear bug is on a whole range of different levels. One, self-care for therapists, like fair income. Like, what does my head in is the RTOs and the curriculum that's out there for therapists these days in regards to looking after yourself and having longevity in this industry is bullshit. There's just, it's minimal at best. I mean, there is so many things that therapists do wrong. I don't understand. It beggars belief. And I'm not having a go at therapists because it's not necessarily their fault. It's the fact that they've just never been exposed to it. And, after my 32 years, I've certainly experienced those pitfalls. I know what it's like. I know what it's like to get overused tendon injuries. I know what it's like to have shoulder pain and neck pain. I know what it's like to have peripheral nerve entrapments. I've been there and I've done that, and I've worked my way through it, and I've come out the other side, And, I'll be honest, I don't really know any other therapists who are actually out in clinic working 5 days a week for 32 years doing this without investing in yourself, whether that be doing some strength and development. You have to do, there's no way I could still be doing what I'm doing today if I didn't have that. Understanding your bloody workload ratios. I mean, you've got to make sure that your workload ratios marry up. You talk about acute workload, what you've been doing in the last 2 weeks as opposed to your chronic workload, which is like 6 months you've been. So if you're like doing 5 massages a week and then you jump to 15, that is a massive change. So that's a massive difference. And you might accommodate that for a week or two, but eventually, it'll catch up to you, and then you'll start having issues. That's just one small part. Do you actually get treatment yourself as a therapist? Therapists are shit house at getting treatment. Like, it's insane. You should be and you should know what areas you need to be treating and why it is so important. Do you invest in, God forbid, safe, sustainable techniques? Like, what does my head in? What is taught in RTOs is a lot of it is not safe, and a lot of it is not sustainable. And I see it, after working in undergraduate for 20 years, I used to say, I go, yeah, well, you can do that, but you're not going to last long doing that. And then I go and teach in a postgraduate situation, and then next thing you know, I see a similar situation go, please tell me you're not doing that every day in clinic, because that, you're just going to ruin yourself. I mean, sometimes I hear it from, some of my clients, who are married to plumbers, they're just, they're itching to get their husbands to do all the plumbing work, and yet it's neglected. And I think the same thing is definitely true for therapists. They just don't invest. I don't know, I think maybe they think that it doesn't apply to them. You spend all this time trying to get results for your clients and make them the best at whatever they're doing, whether it be their work, their sport, their activity, their hobbies, whatever it is that they do, whatever's active for them, you want that for them. But you forego that for yourself as a therapist. You should be the best version of yourself as a therapist. You should be absolutely 100%. Absolutely 100%. Absolutely 100%. I'll say it 3 times. Investing in safe, sustainable techniques. And some of the goddamn bullshit that is out there on YouTube and so forth, and I look at them, I go, well, you're not really working in clinic, because one, that knowledge base is not great, because in clinic that wouldn't work. But the next one is, they are not safe or sustainable. That is dribble, and if you are out there trying to educate people, that is wrong. It is so wrong. So you have to invest in that. You have to. Safe, sustainable techniques. It's the cornerstone. How can you expect to help your clients if you're not looking after yourself? You're actually being almost hypocritical in that sense. I mentioned workload ratios. What about injuries to yourself? Do you understand what injuries you're prone to? Do you actually look at what you do? Do you have an objective opinion on the way that you work physically? Because if you don't understand what injuries you're prone to, how can you avoid them? Do you invest in things like neural gliding and obviously flexibility with those areas you're working, building strength in those areas, as I mentioned before? The tools that you have, do you have height adjustable tables? Are the creams good quality? Do you know what I mean? There's a myriad of things. Mental fatigue is going to be a part of what we do, when I think back when I first started this platform, I was like, right, knowledge has to be part of it. Yes, assessment, treatment, and understanding of, treating whatever conditions that you're going to see commonly, right? So that's has to be part of it. The other one is, why don't we invest in ourselves? So there has to be a self-care component for therapists in this. It has to be the cornerstone. It should be compulsory as an educator to be educating therapists out there on working better and having better practices. It's just mind-blowing that it actually doesn't happen. The other thing that has been a really big part of my career, and that is networking with other practitioners and educators for that matter as well. So, in our webinars and my podcasts, I source out people who are awesome at what they do, right? They are normally clinicians. They've proven in what they do. They have a niche area, and they have the same mantra as me. I don't chase people who are full of shit and then have almost some sort of big name. I don't do that. That's not I chase people who I know are going to fill my bucket with what I know, and I know that they're good at what they do, and they come with that reputation, and I'll know, especially when I'm talking to them. So I don't invest in bullshit. I'm a treating practitioner. People come and see me not for relaxation or therapeutic, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. Nothing wrong with that whatsoever. But I'm a treating practitioner, so I am result driven in what I do. So in the environments that I've put myself in, I have to get those results, or else I'm not doing my job. So when therapists approach me and they want to talk to me about A, B, C, and D, and I want to be business, I want to be a better therapist and so forth, and I go, look, that's the whole reason I designed the goddamn platform. I mean, that's what it's there for. And then what gets my head in is that some therapists will debate the price point of $20 a month. I mean, it's not even a quarter of a treatment. Are you taking the piss? It should be $200 a month, to be honest. That's the value of it. And given the amount of time, effort, money I've put into it and the quality of it, I'm like, You are kidding me, aren't you? Like, seriously. I mean, I think of all the different platforms I'm involved in, and they're worth every goddamn cent because they tip into my bucket in what I do, and it frustrates the hell out of me, you know. And I'm so passionate about this environment. Like, you know, I work 5 days a week in the clinic, and I do this as well because I love doing it, because I honestly believe that I've got a lot to give. And then when I get out there and I do live to live workshops, you know, the feedback that I get is, yeah, it doesn't do my head in from the point of view that feedback is in any way derogatory on any level, because it's never been that way. Anyone who's ever been to one of my workshops says no. You know you're going to leave passionate. You know you're going to be filled with it. I bring in the questions, challenge the resource if you need to, because I love it. Bring it on, absolutely. Because where I come from is from my experience in clinic. And this has really turned into a bit of a rant, because I suppose this has been just crumbling up in the background for a while, where, you know, therapists want to be good at what they do. They want to be awesome at what they do, but sometimes they don't live it or breathe it. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, if you love what you do and you're passionate about what you do and you love my mantra and you like what I do, then by all means, don't bitch to me about a price point, for God's sake. Like, seriously, guys, the platform I have, it should be $200 a month, honestly. And I know that. I didn't design it to make a huge amount of money. I designed it so that it was affordable for every goddamn therapist, because there's other programs out there that are like $3,000-$4,000, which are fucking dribble, and it does my head in. So let's be honest to ourselves as therapists. What is it we want out of this career? How can I do it better? And how can I tip into my bucket? Because it is a lonely world if you're out there treating by yourself. You close the clinic door, you're in there with your clients, and you're not really having much interaction with other therapists. And I know that's probably my proudest point, is the Facebook page that we have, because all the therapists in there tip into each other's buckets. It's gold. You know, people have knowledge in areas that I don't, and I certainly don't profess to know everything and anything. And if I did, you know what? I'd give up tomorrow. I'm challenged in clinic every day. I am challenged by other people out there that are out there doing other things, and I love it. Teach me new things. The body is the most magnificent machine out there, and there's just no way we could ever think that we've got the answer to everything. All right, we can just hope that we get good, consistent, effective changes for our clients, and it helps them. I think that's probably enough. I've had a bit of a rant today. I'm sorry, guys, but I do love you all. I love it. I do. And, you know, honestly, you know, when I say be awesome at what you do, I honestly live and breathe it. That's what I mean. Like, so let's have a look. Let's be objective at ourselves and what we do. How can we better ourselves as therapists? Align yourself with those things or those people that suit your mantra. Have a think about where you're going and what you're doing in your career as well. So important that you look ahead. Certainly live for the day in the present. There's no doubt about it. But you also need to be looking forward. So take this on today on every level or any level that you want. I still love you all. And all I can say is just be awesome at what you do. Thanks, guys.